So I spake, and I climbed the ship's side, and bade my company themselves to mount, and to loose the hawsers. So soon they embarked, and sat upon the benches, and sitting orderly smote the grey sea water with their oars. Now, when we had come to the land that lies hard by, we saw a cave on the border near to the sea, lofty and roofed over with laurels. And there many flocks of sheep and goats were used to rest, and about it a high outer court was built with stones, deep bedded, and with tall pines and oaks with their high crowns of leaves. And a man was wont to sleep therein, of monstrous size, who shepherded his flocks alone and afar, and was not conversant with others, but dwelt apart in lawlessness of mind. Yea, for he was a monstrous thing, and fashioned marvellously, nor was he like to any man that lives by bread, but like a wooded peak of the towering hills, which stands out apart and alone from others. Then I commanded the rest of my well-loved company to tarry there by the ship, and to guard the ship. But I chose out 12 men, the best of my company, and sallied forth. Now I had with me a goat-skin of the dark wine, and sweet which Maron, son of Euranthes, had given me, the priest of Apollo, the god that watched over Ismarus. And he gave it, for that we had protected him with his wife and child reverently, for he dwelt in a thick grove of Phoebus Apollo. And he made me splendid gifts. He gave me 7 talents of gold well wrought, and he gave me a mixing bowl of pure silver, and furthermore wine which he drew off in 12 jars in all, sweet wine unmingled, a draught divine. Nor did any of his servants or of his handmaids in the house know thereof, but himself and his dear wife, and one house dame only. And as often as they drank that red wine honey sweet, we would fill up 1 cup, and pour into it 20 measures of water, and a marvelous sweet smell went up from the mixing bowl. Then truly it was no pleasure to refrain. I mentioned a bit yesterday about the connections to Tales of 1001 Nights. I think it was yesterday. It could have been a couple days ago. I did some research. Well, I overused the word research. I went back and just looked up where the connection was to this point in Odyssey where the men ate of the lotus eaters and didn't want to leave. There's a part at the beginning of Sinbad's 4th voyage where the men drink of a local beverage and are similarly afflicted. So just more connections there. What's happening in today's passage, I think those of you who are well acquainted with the Odyssey know where this is heading. The cave of the shepherd of monstrous size, I think we all know that is heading to the Polyphemus episode. We are going to get our Cyclops battle very soon here. But we also get mention of this wine, the wine from Maron. Let's talk a little bit about this. If you, like me, were confused about why you're introducing a cave of a monster and then suddenly talk about drinking wine, I had to slow this down a bit and try to understand what's happening without completely spoiling what's coming next. But we got some clues here. That second paragraph, we have 2 paragraphs today. The first is about the cave and the monster within. The second one says, "Then I commanded the rest of my well-loved company to tarry there by the ship and to guard the ship, but I chose out 12 men, the best of my company, and sallied forth." He then goes on to say that he had the wine of Maron, who was a priest of Apollo, and Maron gave them the wine because Odysseus and his men had protected him and his wife and child, and this was a splendid gift that he received in response to that. And not just any kind of wine, but a divine draught, and one that none of Maron's men or handmaids, it's kind of secret wine. And my research on this turned up something that I suspect will come into play into tomorrow's episode. But I don't think it's coincidence that Odysseus, seeing this cave of clearly a entity much bigger than the average man, then goes to tell his men to watch the ship, and then chooses 12 of his best to go to this cave with the wine in hand. He's clearly preparing for something. I think we all know what that is. Okay, we are nearing the center of Book 9, but we are nearing the end of May, so I just want to remind you all that you can go over to patreon.com/gruntworkpod and sign up for free during Supporter Month. We're giving away everything we've ever done for free. All you have to do is sign up for our free tier, and everything should be at your disposal, including my mini-series on the life of Theseus. But I wanted to just emphasize something. I'm not going to go through the whole Patreon supporting us rigmarole. One of our contributors had posted on a post, I believe it was for one of the story-only audios, and had asked, his name is Ralph, shout out to Ralph. He had asked if there were any plans to do the Iliad. And here's what I'll say. Now that tomorrow I think will be our 130th episode, so this isn't a fly-by-night thing anymore. We've been doing it for 4 months, I guess. I don't know how to count exactly. Are we going to do the Iliad? And my response to him is kind of my call to all of you, which is, that is on my short list of plans following the Odyssey. I'm hoping that you, the listeners, the people who helped me shape the show, will tell me what you want, and we can decide together. But also, it emphasizes the importance of your contributions and your support of the show, because I would love to do that and continue to do these sorts of things. But we eventually will need to make a decision on what to do and to what extent. Doing a daily podcast isn't nothing. So if we continue in this capacity doing 1 page a day, then it's absurd. Let's not lose sight of that. It just emphasizes how essential your contributions and support are to making this show grow. If you can contribute financially over at Patreon, that's awesome, so that we can become net zero and have those opportunities to do things. But also just making it interesting. I want to call in a response to you all. So if this is what you want, let me know. If there's new things, yeah, listen, why be coy? Why be, secretive about this? I have a short list of things that I think could be interesting to do following the Odyssey. Maybe it's the Iliad. Maybe, and this is wild, but, we're in the brainstorming phase, and my rule is never say no during the brainstorming phase. Maybe we do something like James Joyce's Ulysses, which is a modern update or a modern take. Well, I shouldn't say a modern take. That's completely incorrect. But, it's using the Odyssey as a basis for telling a story, and Ulysses is another book that people don't often get to. There was a stand-up comedian so long ago, I can't remember who it was, had some sort of joke that, like, Ulysses is the book everyone has on their bookshelf but is never read. And I'm finding between this and Monte Cristo, this is a good way to get through a story. Stick with it, and we will eventually get there together, and possibly having a greater understanding of it than if we just were reading it alone, because we are breaking it down each day, asking questions and doing check-ins with what we know of the story, where we're going, etc. Anyway, this is all stuff I would love to hear from you about, and that you can do over at patreon.com/gruntworkpod, even for free. After Supporter Month is over and things go back to contributing members, you can still interact with us and contact us there in order to let us know what you want. Okay, I think I've made my case for today. Let us continue here tomorrow with a little bit more of Book 9. Until then, okay, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.